Son, let me tell you something about revenge. Now, this is something that you're going to have to learn before you can truly call yourself a man. Revenge is great. It's phenomenal. It's the only thing that separates us from the animals. It's why I stay with your mother.
Yo, I told these niggas I ain't stopping. Shea Butter Queen in this bitch. Yeah. Yo, since an innocent teen, my environment's Freddy Krueger trying to live out my dreams. It's a horror scene. It's hard trying to get us to sleep, but with short sleeves, you couldn't see the tricks on my sleeves. I had a list of goals, I'm trying to figure which plan to work. Depends on your thirst. You go to school, strip scam at work. What's a flood to a fish? What's a gun to a fist? I keep a blade that I use just to cut the tongue of a snitch.
This is your draft preview. Bundy here, you there. I don't really care how you're doing. I'm just here to tell you that if we're gonna have a fantasy football season, then I'm just gonna lie. And I can't even speak. I'm just so anxious to fucking tell you this. I am going to annihilate each and every one of you. That's it. I've had it. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of Andy typing all up in the WhatsApp chat with confidence, posting up GIFs, pretending to be the heel of this league. And we all know who the heel of this league is. And we all know why he's the heel of this league. So Andy can't just pretend that just because he won one chip after failing 13 times, after winning just one chip, Andy gets to pretend like he's Conor McGregor. You know, like it's him against the world, and we all have to obey because Andy's at the throne. Like, it's just one chip, kid. It's okay. I remember my first chip too. And you know when I got that chip? You know when I got it. You know when I got it. I was going to throw a mother joke in there, Andy, but it's like, it's past 12. I don't even have the energy for it anymore. This is your draft preview. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to once again try to decipher the fucking matrix that the ESPN website is. I hate this layout. I'm going to let you guys know who the top 10 players are at each of the positions that matter, of course. We're going to take a look at quarterbacks. We're going to take a look at running backs. We're going to take a look at wide receivers. And if I feel like it, we'll take a look at the kickers. I'm just kidding. Kickers aren't real people. We're going to take a look at the tight ends. Let's start off with the wide receiver rankings. Some of you may be aware of who the top players are, but I bet that most of you would also be surprised to know at some players who are on different teams, because I didn't know that some of these people were traded, honestly. The number one wide receiver for the 2020 COVID season is none other than Michael Thomas of the New Orleans Saints. Do I trust Michael Thomas? I'll tell you this. When I screenshotted you guys that mock draft that I was doing, the guy who had the second pick, he chose he chose Michael Thomas with his first pick. I was like, what? What are you doing? Look, I haven't told you your draft order, but let me tell you something. The draft order is as follows. It is Joe, Hensel, me, Green Ranger, Nida Kali, Ewok Rape, Rolo Thomasy, the Black Cat, Dad Bod, and of course, Jego Papa, the champion. Joe and Hensel aren't going to select Michael Thomas or Patrick Mahomes or we'll get to Patrick Mahomes. We'll get to quarterbacks, but that's not going to happen. I'm not going to have to worry about that. I think that throws the whole draft off. Not that you should, consider everyone else's team, but I don't know. Sometimes when people do these mock drafts, I wonder if, if they just, if they're just playing around with everything, like just to see, where people land. But as soon as people, make picks like that I know aren't going to be realistic to the league that I'm playing with, because I know some of you guys, then, I just kind of eject and, auto pick after 2 picks. Michael Thomas, for me, wouldn't be worth it. There's something about the New Orleans offense that, in comparison to where DeAndre Hopkins is playing, which is now the Arizona Cardinals, I think I'd have a lot more confidence with him because the New Orleans offense just spreads out so much. Like, Michael Thomas will have his weeks. Don't get me wrong, of course. He'll get 2, maybe 3 touchdowns. But if I can take a look at his 2020 week by week? No, of course I can't. And even if I could, I wouldn't even know how to find it. This damn thing. My point is that Michael Thomas, he'll have large performances, but then, it'll be like, 70 yards, 3 catches, which is great, but not for my number 1 pick. Of course, we're not discussing if he would be the number 1 pick. I'm just going off what that idiot did. But anyway, let's keep going. So DeAndre Hopkins, as I said, traded for David Johnson. I think it was a straight up, somebody correct me if that wasn't the case. But DeAndre Hopkins playing for the Arizona Cardinals, that's just amazing. I don't know. I feel very excited about that. My dick is getting really hard about DeAndre Hopkins just in the NFC period. Like, who knows what that offense is going to look like? That quarterback that they have, he's adorable. He looks like what was that second wave of Predator movies where the Predator was kind of, where the Predator looked like he was like 6 feet tall with a big helmet on his head. It's like it looked like a really like a teenage Predator. That's what that quarterback looks like. I guess I'll find his name once I get to the quarterbacks list. But DeAndre Hopkins at number 2. We have Tyreek Hill at number 3, and of course Tyreek Hill's injury prone as he is. I don't know. Devontae Adams, of course, is a stud. Julio Jones. I would argue shit. I mean, who here would select Julio over Tyreek Hill? That's something to consider. Mike Evans, who is Paul's boyfriend, after Julio Jones, and actually following Mike Evans is his teammate Chris Godwin, who had a great season last year. I believe Hensel had Chris Godwin, who just towards the end of the season he was just racking up. Tom Brady at the helm in Tampa Bay. Mike, it's going to be one of those scenarios with Mike Evans with Tampa Bay wide receivers. What was that? It was Mike Evans, and who was the other guy? Who the fuck was the other Tampa Bay receiver who, you picked him, then the other guy blew up, and then vice versa with Mike Evans? It's like you could never figure out who the number 1 receiver was going to be, but I guess you can't go wrong with either. Of course, I wouldn't select these guys until, I don't know, round 4 or 5. Then finishing out the top, we have Amari Cooper and Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, who is injury prone as fuck. I had him last season, and he disappointed me, and he hurt my feelings. So we're going to move on to the running backs. And the running backs are, I mean, you know, you have Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, Delvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs. Immediately out of that list, two people that I have no interest. Fuck Aaron Jones. Fuck Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is one of those. No names are coming to mind, but it's, you know, he's one of these like, hey, he's coming on his second year. You know, he showed some promise, and you know, take a chance early on him, and then I do that. And then he's, you know, he averages like fucking 8 points the whole season. Can you trust the Raiders in any offensive position? The last Raider that you could trust at that position when he wasn't hurt was Amari Cooper. But I don't know. So I don't want Aaron Jones, and I don't want Josh Jacobs. And look, guys, you know, if it comes time for the draft, and you know, you guys make some unorthodox picks, you know, I gotta mix it up. I gotta chop it up. I gotta take the pork fried rice. I gotta put it together, my friend. Put it together. So, you know, I'll improvise. I'll do what I have to do. But initially, I'm not interested in these assholes. Derrick Henry is a fucking monster. He is the Predator. That's who I was talking about. Derrick Henry when I was talking about the Predator. Delvin Cook, of course, who I believe had his own injury last season. Ezekiel Elliott. Look, I'm not here to tell you guys, you know, who I'm going to pick. You know, at a position, you know, at the third position, I mean, it's pretty obvious. You know, depending on what my, you know, with Joe and Hensel do, depending on what they do, then, you know, that'll dictate what direction I go. But, you know, probably not going to stray too far away from a running back. Why would I? But I would love to have Christian McCaffrey, of course. Christian McCaffrey last year, you know, was a great season for him. And word is he's suffering from a back injury, because apparently this is what they said, you know, in the Carolina Panthers locker room. He was carrying Andy's team the whole season, and you know, afterwards he had some there were some effects of carrying Andy's whole team on his back. So of course I want Christian McCaffrey. Saquon Barkley, he's a stud. You know, the Giants offense, who else do they have? Now that Odell Beckham Jr. isn't there, what's it? The tight end? I don't know what his name is. I don't know. Are there any other receivers? Okay, the Jamison Crowder, is he? No, I think he plays for the Jets. I don't even fucking know. But yeah. Saquon Barkley, obviously a stud, obviously somebody you want on your team. Alvin Kamara. You know, New Orleans offensive players just in general, as the years go along, I just feel like, you know, they've depreciated because they've got so much wear and tear in them. Like, they've been in so many offensive wars. I just feel like they're just going to taper off. I don't necessarily think Drew Brees is he's a part of that. But I don't know, just the Michael Thomas and the Alvin Kamara. I mean, obviously, look, I'm not going to hate on Michael Thomas. You know, I'm not going to God, is this what my life has come to now? I'm like, I'm imagining that I'm being accused of hating on Michael Thomas. I would like Michael Thomas, but just something about a wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints. Just it reads off like New England Patriot running backs. You know, like, just Drew Brees just spreads it out so much, and to make him the number one, I don't know. Here's what it is. I'm just uncomfortable with him being number one. I just don't feel like that. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins, they probably only did that because DeAndre's on a new team. That's probably why they did it. Also, a player who I forgot to mention in the in the running backs, whom I'm sure everybody is of course very interested in and very curious themselves, is because I have to speak about a few others. This may be a bit of a long installment because we're gonna take a look at some players here. Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was one of those players who I didn't know he was. I didn't know he wasn't on the St. Louis Rams. When I found this out, I was taking a shit. And at that minute, I was trying to imagine Todd Gurley in an Atlanta Falcons jersey. And for some reason, all I could think of was Steven Jackson. I don't know why. Do Todd Gurley and Steven Jackson look the same? Not really. I don't know. But I just couldn't remember what Todd Gurley looked like. Maybe it's because that's kind of what it's going to be like, right? It's, he used to play for the Rams too, and then, he came over, and I think maybe he had some success, or was it all with the Rams? I think he had some success with the Atlanta Falcons. But Gurley, I think he has a knee injury or something like that. I see you guys, I see you guys from afar. You guys are going to try to, and I'm going to assess this once I take a look at the draft afterwards, and then I come back for the other installments. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to overpay on Gurley. Whoever picks Gurley is going to overpay. Guaranteed you're going to overpay. What's overpaying on Gurley? I don't know. Round 5, 6. I don't know. I just know that whenever he's selected, I'm just going to look at one of you and just go, I knew it. I knew he would do that shit. Kyle Edwards, I don't know how you pronounce this, Hilaire. Kyle Edwards-Hilaire, who is a rookie, the rookie running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. Ooh, you almost feel like Lou Gossett Jr. in that Blue Chips scene, when Nick Nolte went to see Penny play, when he went to see Butch McRae play, and then Lou Gossett Jr. comes out. The boy can actually read and write. He got 150 on his SATs, whatever. So what dig deep, gentlemen, dig deep into your pockets. That's a prospect. Apparently this kid is, he was a strong college football player. I don't know. I've been hearing him. I've been hearing buzz about him, on fantasy football forums and shit like that. I don't know if this is the motherfucker's second year. Who knows? But apparently the kid is he's a shining prospect, and you have to figure there's gonna be a lot of movement going on there. Where does he go? Will people overpay on him? I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you. Let's see what happens with him. Joe Mixon is another one of those guys that I just, I know it's going to happen with Joe Mixon. He's going to drop much lower than he probably should. I think it's actually going to hurt his feelings when it happens to it. I know he's going to go a lot. He's going to go very, very cheap. Miles Sanders, I have no interest in him. Austin Eckler, of course, who's a bit of a monster. I think Paul had him last year. He's a monster. David Johnson, who I mentioned was traded for DeAndre Hopkins. What do you do with David Johnson? How much, how many carries is he actually going to get? Apparently last season, he had 95 points, 94 carries, 345 rushing yards. He's obviously fallen from grace, much like, Todd Gurley recently. What happens with him? Who knows? Le'Veon Bell, of course, back on the Jets. And, somebody who's getting lost in the rankings, dropping a little too much in my opinion. Leonard Fournette is still there, and he is still an animal. Okay. Enough of that. We're just going to move on to quarterbacks, okay? Quarterbacks, it's pretty simple, and the quarterback position has always been simple. You gentlemen like to overcomplicate the quarterback situation because there will be many of you who will draft two of these motherfuckers. But I'll give you an example here. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The 11th ranked quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, there's a few people who obviously, I would skip over them to get to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you have your Josh Allens, who, I think Josh Allen got some weapon, I believe. He got Diggs, right? Yeah, I think Stephon Diggs is on the Buffalo Bills, but I still don't want him. I don't care. Matt Ryan, fuck Matt Ryan. Fuck anybody who trusts Matt Ryan still in 2020. Like, please, wear a mask inside your car. Fuck you. Drew Brees, who, of course is, he's Drew Brees. Tom Brady, it's going to be very interesting to see what Tom Brady does in a completely different setting. With, of course, the weapons that I mentioned, the Godwins and the Evans. Who is the running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Is it still Doug Martin? Who is it? Jesus Christ. Dak Prescott, who I want nothing to do with at all. Dak is a fucking loser. I'm sick and tired of depending on these Dallas quarterbacks. Romo was great, but, couldn't stay healthy. Now you got this asshole over here. Just, I don't know. Dak's just so... He's just so clunky. I don't know. He's like Cam Newton, but with less upside. Like, it's just... Russell Wilson, who had a great season last season. He, of course, is a great pickup. Kyler Murray. That was the name of the little short guy. He's great. But I don't think I would trust him either. This is just... I trust no quarterback. That's what I want you to walk away with. I trust none of these motherfuckers. Fuck all of them. Deshaun Watson is ranked 3rd. Deshaun Watson is to me, he's kind of in his own little lane because, he's a part of the second wave of quarterbacks, and he's probably in his own little dimension, even within that second wave. He is projected, of course, to get 317 fantasy points, and the number 2 and number 1 players are projected to get 339. That's Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, 335. Which is interesting. Patrick Mahomes is let's see. Yes, he's the number 1 ranked, but this guy's projected to get 4 more points. So, Deshaun Watson is the, he's the second tier guy, but he's a pretty strong second tier guy. Of course, you have Fuller, who becomes his number 1 option, or take a look at any of the other. Take a look at any of the other Texans. I mean, somebody's got to step up and shine there. Maybe that's where David Johnson comes in and he can, get back to being a good receiver. So with quarterbacks, in my opinion, especially this year, it's either you go radical with Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, and then you just wait. That's it. That's what your philosophy should be with drafting a quarterback. Either you go crazy with Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or you wait a while. You wait. And of course, in every draft we have we have people who sort of start waves within the picks. It'll be the 5th round, and then all of a sudden people think they start needing defenses, so somebody will select the defense, and then then somebody jumps on the defense wave, and then it's like 4 defensive picks within like the 10 last picks and stuff. Like, I know people fall into that, but just you got to understand that the quarterback pool is so deep. I mean, Let me ask you a series of people. Would you be okay? You don't, maybe you could tell me yes or no. I'm not going to hear you, so you're fucking stupid if you do respond. But I want you to respond with your inner voice. Would you be okay starting Cam Newton? Let's call this, would you be okay? Would your mental health be okay if you started Cam Newton? That's what this really is. Let's say, would your mental health be okay if, right? But I'm not going to say mental health every time. It's too long-winded. Would you be okay if you started Cam Newton? Would you be okay if you started Matthew Stafford? Would you be okay if you started Carson Wentz? Would you be okay if you started Joe Burrow? Which I know who the I'll try the rookie quarterback guy is. And his name starts with an E and ends with an Ed. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I reveal it? Ed's the type. He sees the new guy. He'll put him on the bench. The guy will do okay, which okay means he throws 2 touchdowns and gets like 200 yards, and then they start talking him up on sports shows, and that's great because he's an asset to his team, but he's nobody who you would ever think of starting, especially if you pick up Patrick Mahomes. Like this is the genesis of where you guys fucking fail, and it's always it's written in blood inside of all of you, most of you, some of you. Okay, inside of some of you, there's a written rule in blood that says I have to protect the quarterback position. I have to protect the quarterback position. You think it's necessary. You think you have to do it. I've tried to talk you off the ledge, but I'm not gonna do that anymore. But if you have Patrick Mahomes, don't fucking pick up this loser, And then they'll have the same bye week. So it's like, what? So why did you fucking pick? Did you literally just pick up Joe Burrow because you don't think that if Patrick Mahomes got hurt, you don't think you could find something better than him? Look at this. Look, I'm still scrolling down. You got Kirk Cousins. I'm not even gonna count what number. Kirk Cousins is still down all the way here. Jared Goff is still all the way down here. I mean, Jimmy G, I don't know if you want to start Jimmy G, but my point is that you don't think you would do any better than Joe Burrow. I get what part of this is. And I'm sorry, this is kind of just a rant at this point. I'm not giving you guys anything. Fuck all of you, okay? Fuck the lot of you. Fuck all of you, okay? This is basically a rant at this point. I get that. You want who knows? Joe Burrow throws 3 touchdowns. He gets 500 yards. If he got 500 yards, he'd probably get more touchdowns. Maybe, 4 or 5 touchdowns, 500 yards. Then, of course, look, maybe you have a trade, commodity. Maybe you have that. But it's not very likely because we're in the 10-team league. So you can have a quarterback that goes off. I want you to keep him. I want you to stay with him. You know why? Because if you have Patrick Mahomes and this motherfucker goes off on your bench, then guess what? You got your faggoty ass a quarterback controversy. All right, you got 2 guys getting 30 points every fucking week, and nobody wants them. And nobody wants the other guy. Why? Because you're gonna overvalue him anyway. This is a very cynical argument, but it's very true, and all of you are fucking guilty of all of this. I'm pointing at all of you, and especially you in the back, and you know who you are. So yeah, Joe Burrow is available. Would you be comfortable starting Joe Burrow? Would you be comfortable starting Jared Goff? My point is this, folks. The quarterback pool is extremely deep. So if you have your draft situations where somebody picks the second wave of quarterbacks, I believe it'll probably happen. Look, if the quarterback wave happens to be somebody picks Patrick Mahomes in the second round and then the next person says, oh, fuck that, I'm thinking, then that's not a wave. That's just like, fuck that. I want my shooting star. I want mine too. I want just let you have a fucking shooting star, you asshole. If, that's not a wave. The wave is somebody picking up, Russell Wilson, and then all of a sudden 2 picks later you see a Tom Brady, and then the next pick is like a Drew Brees. It's like, you don't have to rush, guys. You don't have to wait. It's a deep pool. You guys will have all the time in the world to ruin any chance that you ever had at having any fantasy success whatsoever. This was your draft preview. I do believe that the draft goes down at, let's see the actual time. The draft goes down Tuesday, September 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, I am in Canada, but fucking Toronto is Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so be there for the draft. I don't know if we're doing Zoom. I don't know. I think that's. I don't know why we should, but you know, if you guys want to do Zoom, that's fine. Be prepared. You know, ask the commish if you have any. You know, if there's any issues with your emails. You know, because I didn't remember my email. I had to break open another browser that I never use, and that was the browser that I was using for last season, so everything was locked in for me. So I'd imagine that if I didn't know my fucking password, there's probably like 1 or 2 of you that have no clue what your password is. So get into your ESPN accounts today, and if there's any issue whatsoever, if you have any proposals, there's 7 days, 19 hours, 24 minutes, and 21 seconds as I speak. That's how much we have left here, folks. You can make any suggestions of whatever you want to do with this fantasy league. I, of course, will propose an idea that I brought up last season, and I'll bring it up again. I believe that along with the championship, we should award the highest scorer in the league with a jersey of their choice. The reason why I say that is because the champion, of course, is, you know, it's not obvious that the champion is the highest scoring team, though sometimes it's the case. I believe Team Bundy did that. I believe that if you're the highest scoring team, you should be rewarded for it. It's sort of, I feel like it's the MVP award. That's what I feel it is. It's the MVP award. You scored the most points. Yeah, you didn't have the best record or, you know, whatever the fuck. I think that's a dope thing to do in the league. But bring up your proposals, whatever the fuck it is. If you think points should be shifted or changed in any way, you know, or if you don't care, just sit down, shut the fuck up. You show up Tuesday, September 8th at 8 p.m. and I start fucking you in your ass. You hear me, Andy? Do you hear me? You aren't the heel of this league, my friend. You're not. The sooner you understand that, the sooner you can actually get to drafting well and making sure that you, I was going to say making sure that you 2P. That's... So as always, I'm not even going to entertain that. May your quarterbacks get hurt before they leave the locker room. May your running backs pull their hamstrings. And may your wide receivers get arrested for marijuana possession and then die of COVID-19. Go fuck yourselves.